Hey guys, happy to go come back to you, right? Yesterday we talked about Africa right to industrialize. And today I want to flip a little bit the lens, right? And look at what kind of external pressure to decarbonize we're seeing and people are actually talking about. It's fair to talk about to have like say a very fair debate. Yeah, that's a conversation I'm gonna have. So speak to you in a minute, guys. Hey people, how you doing? So I'm Tony from Renewables in Africa. We raise awareness about renewable energy and sustainability. So if you want to break, expand into Africa, we are your eco break to this market, and we can help three things: visibility, leads, and deals. Or if you're looking to decarbonize, we again at your eco break to sustainable pathway. We can help with carbon footprint assessment, carbon reduction strategy. So reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to tell you more about that. So from the halls of CAP to global finance board, there is clearly a growing pressure for all countries, including Africa, to commit to net zero. But we have a problem when we say commit to net zero. Let's also recognize it. Not all countries started the race at the same time or with the same tools, should I say. So as you explore the five key points that we're seeing, pressure point, yeah, we have the global climate path push to net zero by 2050. That's great, but it's also fair to recognize that African countries, so they better build the industrial foundation that other nations already have. And in depending which country in Africa you're talking about, it may or may not be possible to leapfrog because you need to look at where are you starting from. It's important to recognize that. So major donor organizations are limiting fossil fuel finance even for gas. So, but at the same time, countries like where people are thinking this is actually uh, 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 being hypocrites because some countries like Germany revived the coal and USC producing, big oil and gas at record high. And also with the current president, they don't even care, right? So we clearly could see a double standard there. So that's why it's a little bit difficult for African countries to hear the message that they've been actually given. And Africa historical emission for now are still relatively low, right? And between 2050 and 2021, the contribution was 3% of CO2 emission compared to 25% for the US, 22% for EU combined. And that's what we see. And the decarbonization roadmap are often imported, right? A Global North consultant, when they put together climate plans, they mean well, but you know also that Global North donors fund them. So how much does it truly reflect local priorities in those climate plans? Does it reflect the priorities of the nation from the south, emerging market, or the ones who actually fund them? Yeah. And then you have pledges and deliveries, because developing nations are asked to decarbonize, but when we have promised like 100 billion per year in climate finance that have not materialized, I know now we bump it up to 300, I think it's 250 if I'm correct, right? But only 2% of clean energy investment in the past decade went to Africa. That's from IEA 2023. So we want, as Africa, a cleaner future. But the pace, the path, and the pressure needs also to be contextualized. And I would say that to also be credible, for me, like I support a renewable path, definitely. But to be also credible, I think our partners will also help us to apply that message to them. Because if the world richest polluters haven't reached net zero, so at times it may be difficult for the continent to bear the cost of getting there first. Yeah. So that's one of the things we need to recognize. So what we're going to tackle tomorrow, it's a specific flashpoint in this debate: natural gas. Is it a stepping stone? Is it a stranded asset? Because it's also important to be, as I say, open-minded and have a proper open discussions if we really want to think to move forward, not just stop ourselves at ideology. And for me, as I say, it's very clear. I want more renewables, but I recognize that fossil fuel will still play a role for a certain time. That's a reality. Yeah. But how can we still obviously get to where we want, and what can we put in place to achieve that? That is the kind of question that we need to ask ourselves. And I like a discussion among Africans about that. Yeah, excellent. See you tomorrow. Drop me a comment and share people that you know and subscribe if you haven't done it. So, yeah.